And so there are other areas that we really kind of leveraged Agile for the venture. You know, one of the core tenets is this concept of test and learn. And we brought that in a number of different ways. The first is in figuring out what type of content we should really produce for Spotlyte. You know, we thought we knew what we needed. We did everything that you would expect that we would do in talking to consumers, doing grassroots research, et cetera, at the very beginning. But ultimately, getting to alpha within just a handful of months allowed us to be able to test that type of content right out of the gates. And what we did was we looked at traffic, we looked at page views, where people are spending time on the site, and that steered what we ended up doing after that. And what we learned was we actually needed more medical aesthetic content than we initially thought we needed, and more skincare content, a little bit less beauty, as we saw what people were interested in reading. And so that was a real-time feedback loop, if you will, on impacting the type of content that we had on the site. The other way that we really leveraged test and learn was through chat. We have this team of trained aesthetic specialists that anyone can come and ask a question. So there were a lot of questions coming in. And as we looked at the questions coming in, you know, we were a little bit surprised because there weren't that many questions about a specific product or a specific treatment. It was more questions about just general areas of concern. Things like, I'm really worried about this line on my forehead. How can I improve its appearance? And so we saw that trend. We saw all of these questions coming in by area of concern, and we took that information and we did something with it. That impacted the type of content that we were starting to produce. We started to create more and more content that was centered around and focused on areas of concern. It impacted the organization of the site. We updated the top nav of the site to include areas of concern. You can see that now if you go to the spotlyte.com. And we added chat prompts to pull people into chat based on those areas of concern. Which brings us to Spotlyte today. Spotlyte has very quickly evolved. Remember, we haven't even been on the market for 2 years yet. Very quickly evolved from the alpha site that we launched with just 30 articles to the incredible editorial content site that we have today. And you can see the numbers here and what that means. We, in 2019, in those 12 months, we had over 4 million different people come to the site to consume our content. Return users are around 30% week over week. We achieved over 8 million page views. We reached a newsletter list just of 44,000. It's higher now, but by the end of 2019, it was 44,000, and our social followers across platforms was close to 30,000. Very big on Instagram. I highly recommend for all of you to follow us on Instagram, and of course, go check us out at thespotlyte.com. In summary, I want to share regulation. It may be a challenge, of course, but it really can be a significant opportunity, and it certainly shouldn't be an excuse. You know, ultimately, the guidelines that we have, the regulations that we have across the industry, they are so completely aligned with what consumers are looking for. Consumers want credible and trustworthy content, and the regulations that we have enable us to provide that. And it's something that really and truly should be embraced. The other thing that is important to remember is this concept of test and learn. It's something that we all really should be doing and embracing and doing on a regular basis. It's really invaluable to get that feedback in the real world. And then finally, you know, as I look at all of the things that we did with Spotlyte, one of the things I'm most proud of is that we've proven that Agile is absolutely possible in a regulated industry.